Alrighty, everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing another mod showcase. We're going to be looking at my expanded growth series, and specifically we're going to be looking at the tree growth module. So for a brief summary of what this mod does, it basically allows you to grow these large variants of the vanilla trees that are in the game. You may occasionally see some of these large variants generated in your world already during world generation. The thing that my mod kind of adds is it adds a way for you to grow these trees. So currently in vanilla, you'll be wandering your world and you'll see this big oak tree, let's say, like the one you see right in front of us. You can't actually grow that tree. It's only on world gen that those are created. There's no way to grow them. So my mod kind of steps in and adds a method for growing big trees like that, and it has a wide variety of variants of the vanilla trees that you can do this with. So to get started, we're going to be going over how to use the mod, obviously. The first thing we're going to be going over is how to craft the basic item for the mod, which is the burlap sack. This is like the foundation of it. So we're going to go over how to craft that, and then we're going to go over how to actually use the burlap sack to grow one of these trees. So the first thing you're going to want to do is craft yourself a barrel and fill it up with just regular, plain, fresh water. Not seawater, not hot water, not any other type of water in the game, just fresh water. From there, you're going to fill it with cattails. 25 cattails will net you within 12 hours. It'll net you 25 burlap fibers, which allows you to make about 8 burlap sacks. So basically, for every 12 hours, you can make burlap sacks in one barrel. So yeah, that'll net you the burlap fibers, which you can then utilize within this recipe right here. So the next thing we need to make is this burlap bundle. So you're going to combine those burlap fibers you need 3 of them at least. You're going to combine that with flax fibers, and that's going to net you 1 burlap bundle. So this recipe, if you use it just off of using the barrel recipe here, let's see, movable. So if you use this barrel recipe, you get your 25 burlap fibers. That'll net you about 8 of these burlap bundles. And then you can then go on to use that burlap bundle with rope. So a coil of rope plus a burlap bundle, you'll get your burlap sack. Again, 1 barrel nets you enough to make 8 of these off the bat. So a pretty hefty amount, allows you to get started on making your amazing forest. So how do we use the burlap sack? This is kind of like a staged process here. There's different stages to the burlap sack that you can see here. You have the empty stage, you have your soil, your compost, and your bone meal. And that's where all those ingredients come in here. So the first thing you're going to do is find a nice spot to grow your tree at, and you're going to pop down your burlap sack. And then you're going to go ahead and you need to fill it with dirt. So it says place and fill with soil. Any fertility level works. Inside the mod, soil fertility does affect how long it takes these trees to grow. You can go into the growth guide. You can scroll down a bit here to general information, and it says soil fertility type will affect your growth time. Low fertility, it will take 15 days. Medium fertility, 13. High is 8. Terra is 5 days. So you can use any one of those you want. We have some high fertility soil here, so we're going to put that in there. And you'll see now it says soil is high fertility soil. And now it says place and fill with compost. We obviously don't need to place it again. But we will go ahead and put some compost in there. And now it says compost filled, and it says fill with bone meal. So we will go ahead and pop the bone meal in there, and it says bone meal filled. And now it says to place your seed inside. So we have a larch seed here. So again, if we go back to the mod guide here and we go into tree growth, you can see there is a nice list of acceptable saplings. These are ones that will work with the mod currently. So we have oak. You can get 1 by 1, or you can even get 2 by 2 trees out of this. We can use maple, walnut, kapok are always going to be 2 by 2 trees. That's just how they are. We have purple hearts, we have ebony, we have larch, pine, and we also have crimson maple. So we will go ahead, we're going to pop that larch sapling in there. And you will see that we are getting our growth stage benefit. So it's only 8 days for this tree to grow, not 15. So it does show the temperature range. So the burlap sack and the saplings are affected by temperature as of, I think, the last update to the mod. basically the growth stage will continue to count even if you're not within that growable temp range. So you can see here it says growable temp is FOSS. So each day that passes, the growth stage will continue to climb. It will even go above 8. It'll just keep climbing. And basically it will wait until it hits until that growable temperature goes to true. It's inside that growable temp range. And then as long as the growth stage is 8 or above, the tree will just grow. You don't have to do anything special if it's not in the growth temperature range and stuff like that. The growth stage is kind of the big waiting factor here. And then obviously waiting for it to hit the temperature. So then it will grow into a big tree. So yeah, we have 8 days here. It'll grow into something like that. Although I think the large trees are a little bit bigger. And that's kind of how the burlap sack works. So yeah, it's just a waiting game at this point. You just wait your 8 days and you'll get a nice big tree. All right, so another thing to note with the burlap sacks when you're working these, I've noticed a lot of confusion around what you can place into the burlap sack. So you do need to use a seed specifically. You cannot use a sapling. So inside of the game, there are saplings that you can obtain if you place down a seed onto normal dirt like you would the vanilla way. If you place it down after 1 day, it becomes a sapling. And if you break it, you do get the sapling back, not the seed. You cannot use these in the mod. They do not work. They're already set on their vanilla growth path. They just don't work. You do have to use the seed. This has been a big confusing point for the mod. I get probably the most questions about, why those saplings don't work. Like people trying to use them and wondering why the mod's not working. You need to use a seed. The saplings will not work. That's just how I have the mod set up. I'm not going to change it. It just is what it is. All right, so just to kind of have like a display of all the tree seeds that you can use or the trees that you can grow within this mod, you have walnut, ebony, kapok, maple, oak, pine, crimson maple, purple heart, and larch. These are all the ones you can currently grow. And yeah, that's pretty much the layout of the mod. That's the process. You make your fibers, you make your burlap bundles, then you make your burlap sack, and then you go through the process of filling it up, adding the seed, and then you wait your amount of days and you get a nice big tree, which allows you to make a massive forest. That's kind of the purpose of the mod. That's why I developed it. If you've seen any of my live streams, I have a few examples of forests that you can kind of create with these big trees. They're really cool to walk through. They're fun to like kind of explore and build out and stuff. And as far as future updates to the mod that are coming down the pipeline, I do plan on adding, if we go in here, I do plan on adding birch trees, and I do plan on adding acacia trees to the game. I don't know if I'm going to do Mediterranean cypress and bald cypress. I have to see how those generate and if there's even like a larger variant that I can really do with them. But I will look into it. But as of right now, the biggest ones are going to be acacia and birch. Those probably will be coming shortly after 122 drops. Fully, not any release candidates or pre-releases. Once it's fully out and I update all my mods to 122, I'll start working on the birch and the acacia seeds. So another update I get asked to add to the game is a configuration file for the soil types, so that people can adjust how long each soil type takes for the trees to grow. So instead of the default values that are in here, 15, 13, 8, people want to be able to adjust these. I'm not 100% sure if I want to go about that route yet. Maybe not. We'll see. If I do go that route, it won't be until a post 122 update. Again, once maybe after I get the acacia and birch trees into the game. So yeah, I think that's gonna cover everything here. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this video was informative enough to help you along with the mod and understand the process here. As always, thank you so much for watching. Take it easy, keep being awesome, and I will see you guys all in the next one. All right, bye-bye.